Hi everyone, I'm Xiaobai from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you a new design, Memphis blanket. This blanket is made up of Motif 1 and Motif 2. First, crochet the corresponding number of motifs, and finally join them together. First, crochet Motif 1. Using the chain ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. You'll switch colors every round as you crochet. Several crochet stitches will be applied, and they are all marked in the chart, so I won't list them one by one. Now let me demonstrate the specific crochet method. It should be noted that you'll sometimes work 2 strands together as 1 strand while crocheting, because some yarns are special and not easy to undo. It's recommended that before crocheting, you can use leftover yarn at home to follow along with the video. Learning the crochet method first. Once you're comfortable, then use the corresponding yarn to crochet. Here for easier viewing, I'll demonstrate using 1 strand of cotton yarn. The color will be random. For specific yarn, color scheme and hook size, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper pattern instructions. Let's start with the foundation chain. First, make 3 chain stitches as the starting point. Then, into the first chain stitch. Pick up 1 strand from the side of the chain, slip stitch to join. The slip stitch doesn't count as 1 stitch and needs to be pulled tight. The foundation chain is completed. Next, move on to crochet the first round. First, chain 3 to begin. This counts as 1 double crochet stitch. It counts as 1 double crochet. Then, into the chain space of the starting point. Work 11 double crochets. As you crochet, keep the starting yarn tail on top of your hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. After completing, check the stitch count. Including the turning chain, you should have 12 double crochets in total. Finally, work into the turning chain. Count up 3 chains from the bottom. Which is the chain next to the first double crochet on the right? Pick up both loops of this chain, then slip stitch. Pull tight. Round 1 is completed. Since we'll be switching colors for the next round, we need to handle the yarn ends here. Work 1 chain stitch to secure, and leave a tail of about 5 centimeters. Fasten off the yarn. Tighten the tail. The starting tail has already been secured for 1 round. You can cut it directly. Leave the ending tail for now. Use the clearer texture side as the right side. During crocheting, the right side should always face you. Move on to crochet round 2. Join the yarn at the insertion point of the slip stitch from the previous round. Take out the new yarn. Leave a yarn tail and hook it out. This completes the yarn joining. Start crocheting this round. Make 3 beginning chains as the turning chain. Count it as 1 double crochet. Continue to crochet at the joining position below. Work 1 double crochet. Keep the starting yarn tail above the crochet hook while crocheting. Weave in the ends as you go along. Treat the worked stitches as a special DC 2-in-1. Work a double crochet increase in the left stitch. That means working 2 double crochets in the same stitch. This stitch is a bit distorted. Pick up the top 2 strands and crochet. The double crochet increase is completed. Continue working double crochet increases in the left stitch. Keep crocheting all the way down the row. After finishing, check the stitch count. No further reminders will be given afterward. Join with a slip stitch in the beginning chain at the end. Leave a yarn tail of about 5 centimeters. Break the yarn. Round 2 is completed. Continue crocheting round 3. Attach yarn at the insertion point, where the previous round joined. Make 3 chain stitches to begin. Counts as 1 double crochet. Work a double crochet increase in the left stitch. Work a double crochet in the adjacent stitch. One double crochet increase. From this round downward, alternate crocheting double crochets and double crochet increases. Crochet the entire round using this method. Finish by joining with a slip stitch in the beginning chain. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Round 3 is completed. Now crochet round 4. First, attach yarn at the insertion point, where the previous round joined. Make 3 chain stitches to begin. Work a double crochet in the left stitch. One double crochet increase. Continue crocheting 2 double crochets in the left stitch. One double crochet increase. From this round downward, follow the pattern of skipping 2 stitches. Then crocheting 1 double crochet increase. Everyone continue crocheting the remaining part of this round. Once completed, join with a slip stitch in the beginning chain. Cut the yarn. Round 4 is completed. Next, crochet round 5. The crochet method for this round is similar to round 4, but the number of skipped double crochets is different. I've already finished crocheting the sample here. Everyone please pay attention and follow the chart. After completing the crocheting, measure the size of the piece. If it differs significantly from the dimensions shown on the chart, it's recommended to adjust your tension and crochet again. Finally, join with a slip stitch on the beginning chain. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Some of the tails at the back have already been secured, and can be trimmed off directly. This completes the crocheting for round 5. Next, we'll crochet round 6. Take the corresponding yarn. Since this yarn has longer fuzzy fibers, the stitches can be hard to see clearly. Watch the markers carefully as you crochet. First, attach the yarn to the left side of the slip stitch insertion point from the previous round. Crochet 1 chain stitch to begin. This chain doesn't count as one stitch, it's the turning chain for the single crochet. Remove the stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a safety pin or paperclip from home instead. Place the marker around the entire loop on your hook, underneath the hook. Pay attention to the yarn you're crocheting with. Don't catch the marker inside the stitch. Work 1 single crochet into the same stitch, where you joined the yarn. The single crochet is complete. The marker position is now at the single crochet stitch. You can feel it with your fingers. It's the stitch between the 2 strands of yarn. It's a small little dent or hole, or you can push the fuzzy fibers aside. To see the 2 strands of yarn like this, then work 1 single crochet decrease. Insert the hook into the left stitch. Yarn over and draw through. This is 1 incomplete single crochet. Insert into the left stitch again. Yarn over and draw through. Now you've completed 2 incomplete single crochets. There are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, draw through all loops at once. The single crochet decrease is completed. Work 2 half double crochets into the left stitch. 2 double crochets. One treble crochet increase, meaning you work 2 treble crochets into the same stitch. First, work the first stitch, yarn over the hook twice, insert, yarn over and draw through the yarn, yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops in sequence. Repeat 3 times, once, twice, 3 times. 1 treble crochet is completed. Work another stitch in the same position, yarn over the hook twice, insert, yarn over, draw the yarn through, yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops in sequence. Repeat 3 times. Another treble crochet is completed. A treble crochet increase is also completed at the same time. Move on to crocheting 2 chains. Place a stitch marker at the chain space to mark it. Work a treble crochet increase in the next stitch. Work 2 double crochets in each stitch on the left side. Two half double crochets. One single crochet decrease. First, make 2 incomplete single crochets. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. Complete the single crochet decrease. Treat the stitches worked after the turning chain as one group. Repeat this group of stitches going downward. Keep crocheting this round until it's all done. Pay attention while crocheting. Place a stitch marker in the chain space between the treble crochet increases. Once completed, it should look like a square. The chain spaces, where the stitch markers are placed, mark the 4 corners. Check the stitch count on each of the 4 sides. That is the number of stitches between 2 stitch markers. You can count the small hole underneath the stitch, or you can count the stitch posts. There should be a gap between 2 stitch posts. Also measure the size of the crochet piece. If the size differs significantly from the chart's measurement, it's recommended to adjust your tension and recrochet this round. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet stitch of the round. That is the starting stitch marker position. Pull tight. Leave a yarn tail of about 5 centimeters before cutting the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail along the backside texture. With that, round 6 is completed, and motif 1 is also completed. Everyone, follow the method just demonstrated. Refer to the chart. Complete the required motif 1. Next, crochet motif 2. Use the chain ring method to start. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. No new stitch techniques are used. Please watch the demonstration. First, start with a chain ring. Then, work the corresponding number of double crochets into the starting hole. Once completed, slip stitch to the turning chain. The method is similar to motif 1. I've already crocheted the swatch here. No need to fasten off the yarn after completion. Continue crocheting round 2. First, work 1 special double crochet increase. Chain 3 to start, which counts as 1 double crochet. Work 1 double crochet into the slip stitch insertion position of the previous round. The special double crochet increase is completed. Continue working the double crochet increases all the way around. Finish with a slip stitch into the turning chain. Round 2 is completed. Move on to crochet round 3. Finish with a slip stitch into the turning chain. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Round 3 is completed. Now crochet round 4. Take the corresponding yarn. Join the yarn at the insertion position of the slip stitch from the previous round. Make 1 chain stitch to begin. Place a stitch marker to mark. At the insertion position of the joined yarn, and the left stitch, work 1 single crochet decrease. Work 1 single crochet into the adjacent stitch. Continue working 2 half double crochets downward. One double crochet, 2 chain stitches. Place a stitch marker into the chain space. Then work 1 double crochet again at the same insertion position below. Work 2 half double crochets into the left stitch. One single crochet. Treat the stitches after the beginning chain as a group. Then repeat working this group of stitches. Continue working all the way around until the round is complete. While crocheting, place a stitch marker into the middle chain space to mark. After completing the crocheting, check the stitch count carefully. Finish with a slip stitch at the starting marker position. Pull tight. Round 4 is completed. It now has 4 sides and 4 corners. Next, work on round 5. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Count it as 1 double crochet, 1 stitch corresponding to the marker position. Place a stitch marker in the 3rd chain stitch to mark. You can feel it with your hand. There's a small indentation in the middle of the chain. You can feel the 3rd indentation from the bottom up, or locate it below the loops on your hook. You'll feel the indentation there. Thread the marker through this indentation. Next, work 4 double crochets into the left stitch, crocheting correspondingly. You can feel with your hand to find the small hole, or part the fuzzy yarn to locate the stitch. If you're still unsure, refer to the pattern. Simply crochet the required number of stitches evenly in the corresponding area. Here, work into the chain space on the left side, where the marker is placed. Crochet 4 double crochets. Once completed, crochet 1 double crochet into the chain space, where the marker is located. Then, chain 2, and crochet 1 double crochet. Move the marker below to this chain space. From here down, work 2 double crochets into the chain space at each corner position. Crochet a chain 2 space between each double crochet, and place a marker in this chain space for marking. For the side positions, crochet a double crochet into each stitch 1 by 1. Follow this pattern all the way around to finish the round. Check the stitch count as you go. Once completed, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Round 5 is now completed. Continue to crochet the 6th round. Make 3 beginning chains. Place a stitch marker on the 3rd chain. On the left side, crochet double crochets 1 by 1 in corresponding positions. Work 2 double crochets into the chain space at each corner. Chain 2. Pay attention, place a marker to mark. Then work 2 more double crochets. This round's technique is similar to the previous round, except the number of double crochets at the corner positions is different. Refer to the chart. Continue to finish this round. After completing, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Compare with Motif 1. The two motifs should be roughly the same size. If there is a significant difference, it is recommended to adjust your tension and recrochet the last few rounds. Finally, leave a yarn tail of about 5 centimeters. Cut the yarn. Weave in the tail along the backside following the texture. This completes Motif 2. Using the method just demonstrated, refer to the chart. Complete all the remaining Motif 2 pieces. Next, we will proceed with joining the motifs. Joining can be done horizontally or vertically. The method is the same. Use whip stitch to join the motifs. Here, I will demonstrate with 4 motifs. Regardless of the number of motifs being joined, the method remains the same. First, use a stitch marker to mark the sewing position. I've already marked mine. Align the edges and corners of the motifs. Place a stitch marker in the chain space at the corner position. The matching edges and corners of 2 motifs are the sewing area. Once marking is complete, next step is to start joining. First, take the same color yarn from the outer edge of the motif. The length should be 3 times the length of the sewing position. You can leave a bit extra, to prevent the yarn from being too short. Thread the needle. Start with horizontal joining. Pick up the 2 motifs on the right side. Make sure the right sides are facing out, with their wrong sides facing each other. Leave a little yarn tail. To make it more secure, you can sew over this part one more time. Gently tighten. Then sew into the corresponding stitches along the edge. If you can't find the exact spot, pick up about 2 strands in the general area and sew through them. Make sure the insertion point is secure. Start with the beginning yarn tail, weave it in as you sew. Sew evenly. Don't leave any large holes. Keep the fabric flat and neat. Keep sewing until reaching the corner position on the left side. In this way, 2 motifs are sewn together. Next, pick up the two adjacent motifs on the left side. Sew them together using the same method. Continue sewing until reaching the chain space on the left side. Once completed, if you need to add more motifs, continue using the same method. Place two motifs with their wrong sides aligned and sew them together. Increase 2 by 2. Keep sewing until completing the corresponding number of motifs. Here, I only connect 4 motifs. No more motifs need to be added. The chain space at this final corner is the same as the starting position. To secure the motifs in place, this chain space can be sewn through one extra time. Hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. The horizontal sewing of the motifs is now complete. The vertical sewing follows the same method. When reaching the joining position at the 4 corners, simply sew through the corresponding chain spaces. If there are any large holes, you can sew through them an extra time. Follow the method I just demonstrated, and refer to the motif joining diagram to complete the joining of all motifs. Up to this point, the explanation of motif joining is complete. At the same time, the entire blanket explanation is also finished. If you have any unclear parts during the crocheting process, feel free to ask. Don't hesitate to contact our customer service. Susan's family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.